The meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes. I'm your host, Logan, back here in the studio, St. Louis, Missouri, live from Twitch. That's right, doing live episodes now. You could be featured in the episode Join us live, get in the chat. We are monitoring it live from in here. We want to see what your thoughts are. And then you make it into our fully produced episode. Nothing changes. You're going to get those episodes on Monday, Sunday on Patreon. Watch us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Listen everywhere you get podcasts. I think there's probably 50 plus podcast channels out there. You can bet your butt we're on all of them. Scotty Scoop, the Giggler, we're here, we're back, and let's just go ahead and get into the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's why you came, it's why you're here, it's why we're here, and we're talking about a movie from 1998. What were you doing in 1998? I wore one of my favorite sweaters today. I think this is probably a show I was watching at the time, the Power Rangers. I think Giggler and I were probably around 10 years old, and you said it. This was one that, I definitely was not allowed to watch. Yeah. As a child, I was sneaking this, and whenever I did see it, and I was like, okay, I'm watching this. I don't care what my parents say. Holy shit. Hard R Blade. Wesley Snipes is here debuting. This character on screen, a Marvel character, nonetheless, I think was introduced in comics in the early 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Not to tread on Scotty Scoop's comic book knowledge.
I think you're pretty accurate.
And I'm going to talk all about this film. We'll talk about who made it and all that good stuff. Let's set up a little bit with us personally, who this is to us. I already kind of talked about, I had never even seen this movie before. We pulled this out of the archive. We're watching Moon Knight. We got stuff in the end credit scene of Eternals that I won't even get into that gets me just kind of feeling like I want to look at some old superhero stuff. Scotty's got a great point. We're going to watch a lot of stuff, I think, coming up. X-Men, Fantastic Four.
We got a huge backlog.
Time to get into the old stuff. Bring it back to the forefront, and that's why we're here, Blade. Scotty, set it up. Who's Blade to you? Who were you in 1998 whenever this movie's coming to theaters?
I don't know the exact. Do we have the date it dropped in theaters?
I don't have the exact date. Well, actually, you know what? I probably do. August 21st, 1998.
This is Scotty Scoop, just graduated high school.
Oh, man.
I was, just old enough to walk into the theater and buy my own ticket to see this movie.
Was this one of the first?
It's probably.
I'm going to go vote, and then I'm going to go see Blade.
Yes.
Got my cigarettes.
I'm a finely tuned athlete. I don't smoke.
And, doing the raw reaction, and this story is going to be one that we're going to have a lot of fun talking about. What was the experience like at the time seeing that in the theaters?
I remember seeing it. It's 90s action flick.
Yeah.
Lots of blood and swords and cursing and Wesley Snipes in his heyday.
Just getting after it.
Just getting it.
Swinging that sword, doing
like
the dance
pro.
moves.
And, you looked at him and you're like, that's Blade.
That's Blade.
That's Blade.
Instantly iconic.
If someone said, who's Blade? I'd be like, Wesley Snipes.
That's why he got a Trinity.
I know that. Yeah, you got a Trinity. You got 3 of these films. It's the first of 3. We're definitely going to do all 3, obviously, listener, if you're thinking about it. Giggler, Blade to you. How'd this watch go for you?
I really enjoyed this. I guess I probably got this from a Blockbuster. Probably convinced my dad to let me watch it, maybe when I was in 7th or 8th grade, probably.
It's fine.
Because it definitely came out when I was 10. There's no way I watched it. The opening 5 minutes. There's a guy, I guess, just getting a BJ. So there's no way. There's no way that 10-year-old Andy would. I probably wouldn't even understand what was happening. So I was such an innocent young man.
You still are.
Yes, exactly.
I could tell.
But right now, Blade was just me being excited for the new one. But I like this look back because I really rewatching this movie. I had not seen this in 20 years, 15 years. I don't know, somewhere around there.
A long time.
Yeah. I guess we're old now, but
well, I gotta tell you, I don't think I ever saw this thing straight through. Never watched it from the beginning to end until 2 days ago. And man, I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, the first 30 minutes of the movie might be my favorite parts of the whole movie. It's just so hardcore. Comes out swinging. Let's get into it. A little bit about the film. IMDb. These guys have been doing this a long time. And you get on their website, they've got it pretty organized in the way that you don't need to reinvent it. And they're going to be our source for movie stuff going forward. It's going to make it a lot easier. And looking at what they have, again, August 21st, 1998 is when it came out. Looks like it's was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, also Canada. Production companies are Amen Ra Films, Imaginary Forces, and Marvel Enterprises. The movie stars Wesley Snipes as Blade, Stephen Dorff as Deacon Frost, Chris Christopherson as Whistler, and M. Bush Wright as Karen. What a cast. These guys show up. So much fun. Let's get into the story. First of all, what do people think about this online? We talked about kind of how we felt about it so far, but the Rotten Tomatoes is at 57%, 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb. 89% of people like this movie on Google, and it's a 47% on Metacritic.
That's a lot of range.
What the hell is Metacritic?
All over the place. Metacritic is a congregation of reviews.
And it's got to be old a little bit because it's only on like certain movies that are certain age.
Yeah,
it's not like on a lot of newer stuff. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean it's basically Rotten Tomatoes, an older Rotten Tomatoes, I believe.
So according to IMDb, just a little quick synopsis: a half vampire, half mortal man becomes a protector of the mortal race while slaying. I can't see the end of that, but it says every vampire,
evil vampires.
Evil vampires. Spoiler alert for the film right now. Going to get into the story, and man, this is a story that is all over the place, but man, this is a hard R.
Oh, for sure.
The opening scene is a woman in the 60s having a gruesome labor that is a baby that's just covered in red blood, and this is the first thing you see.
Yeah. Really throws you into the deep end there.
Disturbing.
And I lean over to Carrie. I go, I guess that's Blade. It's got to be Blade. That baby's got to be Blade.
Baby Blade.
Baby little Blade. Fast forward to the future. What had happened? I mean, Andy, you talk about the opening sequences.
What a sweet club.
You get this regular, you think this regular couple going to a club. It's just going to be a Saturday night out. We're hitting the town.
She's taking them in. Like, I know this place.
There's hooks on the ceiling because it's like a
some
butcher
sort of
shop.
Meat factory.
People are dancing. They're going crazy. And then all of a sudden, a little blood hits him on the hand. Oh, the sprinklers in the place come on. 1,000 people just covered in red blood, just
gore.
dancing.
Just raining from the ceiling.
Just random sex acts happening around the place, like Andy said.
Yeah.
And we find out quickly this guy that we see in the car is he's lost his gal. He's wandering around. The blood starts pouring. Oh, these are vampires.
Oh.
These are all vampires.
Yeah, you see them like up to the sky, their mouths open, they got the fangs.
Yeah. And it's not long.
You got the techno music.
It's going. And the DJ's going.
Quick shout out. The soundtrack to this movie.
Oh, really?
If you guys don't know. Fantastic.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't like writing them down, but I guess the music was pretty good.
It's like a techno like dance soundtrack. It's great.
I mean, very 90s action.
Yes.
You said. And we get Blade right away. Here he is. Full outfit. This is probably what you saw in the trailer. He's here. He is here to mess up every vampire in here.
Yep.
In the most fashionable fight that you'll ever see every time.
Oh, yes.
Very choreographed.
Very choreographed. A lot of like jumping arms forward, swinging across the room. He's
Lots
got
of
the
cuts.
sword.
Yeah.
Yes.
His weapons are just awesome.
Yeah.
He's got the sword. He's got the
silver spikes.
Yes.
And he's throwing the silver spikes around, the stakes.
He's got the like almost the Batarang kind of flipping across the room and coming back.
Yeah. Dude. You get he wasn't on the cast list on the screen, but you get like one of the first characters you meet is this guy that Blade burns up.
Yeah.
And he's in a lot of stuff. I can't think of like his name.
Oh my God.
And he's in so many things. He's just like one of these like, white guy dads that's kind of like he's always in a lot of stuff, I swear.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, so Blade burns him up. This is Blade's thing.
You can tell he's come into contact with this guy before.
Yeah,
because he said, why don't we try fire this time?
Yes.
Sets him, staked him to the wall, sets him on fire, and walks away.
He's like, what are you going to do? Chop me up into pieces again?
Right.
He's like, no, we'll try something different.
Yeah.
And this is Blade's thing. Ridding everyone of vampires. He's like, I just don't want evil vampires around. You don't really know much about Blade other than that. He's just this guy that wears this cool outfit and has these great
Vampire
tools.
hunter.
Vampire hunter.
Just Billy Badass.
Because I guess when the movie comes out, if you're not a Blade fan like
Right.
you from the comics,
This
don't really realize that was the thing, right? I remember that when I was a kid. You don't know that Blade's like a half vampire.
Right. Like this is the first, I think, comic book movie of its kind. Like there was nothing predating this.
Right.
Other than garbage.
Yeah.
You had like the old Spider-Man movie. You had the old Captain America movie.
Yeah.
You had the Fantastic Four movie that never got released.
Yeah.
And here we are in 1998. This is pre-X-Men.
Yeah.
And it's straight into a rated R with an obscure character.
Yeah. No holds bars.
Like
I always mess up that phrase, but
Bard.
Thanks.
This
It's
is
a wrestling term. I got you.
Oh, thank you.
This is a character that Wesley Snipes campaigned to play and create this movie.
I mean, I believe it.
Yes.
Like seeing him in it.
Right.
Like from the
Wesley
first,
Snipes was born to play Blade.
Not just born to play it, but you could tell that he was probably telling everybody he was too.
Yes.
Like he was there and he shows every scene is like he is going at an 11.
Yes.
Which I love.
Dialed up.
Yes. All right. So story-wise, this guy that he burns ends up in a hospital. You get these two doctors. They're checking him out in the morgue. Oh, he's not dead. He's a vampire.
Like, I've got this sample, this blood sample.
And the guy's
from
like,
this body I got on my table.
Yeah.
You need to check it out. It's really weird.
Something's not right.
Something's not right. And this lady's like, what are you talking about? Like, you can tell there's some sort of chemistry between them, sort of connection.
Do you ever think about us?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the line he throws in there. You ever think about us? And she's like, oh, gosh.
Oh, my God.
On.
This again.
And right in the middle of it, vampire comes back to life, gets his neck. This doctor's dead immediately.
Tears it out. Immediately, every ounce of this guy's blood is on the floor.
And I'm like, that other doctor's surely gone. She's not. She's totally still standing there.
Yeah.
She gets bit.
Shocked,
just shocked. Like, okay. Chasing her out the hallway. Bites her.
Yeah, bites her.
Gets her right away. Is about to be finished off.
Nuh-uh.
Here comes Blade.
Here he comes in the hallway, coming down the hospital. On round 2 for this burnt up, chiseled.
Finish the job.
Dude,
came back to finish the job.
Yeah.
How did he know?
That guy was disgusting.
Yeah,
like,
they did a good
burned
job.
up. Yeah. Like, it just made me cringe. Like
Donald Logg. That's the guy's name.
Oh, man.
He was in Gotham.
He's in Gotham. He played the commissioner.
Yep.
Yes.
He's been in lots of stuff.
Harvey.
God, what a show. Me and Carrie were talking about rewatching that after this. That's exactly what we did.
Okay.
Okay, so she's like, I'm bitten.
Yeah.
This isn't good. He's like, God.
Yeah, what am I going to do?
Guess I'll take you with me back to my home. All right, what's my home? This it's a bunker / garage, and I've got an old white friend, and his name
is Chris
Christopherson. The Whistler. Not the Whistler.
Whistler.
His partner in crime.
Yes.
And a few things happen here at this first encounter. She's kind of like, sleeping it off. He's like, Whistler's like, she's good as dead. He sits down Blade, and she walks in on Blade getting given like some kind of serum.
Yeah.
Like they're putting something in his neck.
Yeah.
And they put it in, and it really takes a toll on him.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is an intense scene.
They've got him strapped down. He's really flexing,
and his face his eyes are just wide,
popping,
and I feel like we get her. It's not quite yet, but we get the Blade backstory pretty quickly at this garage.
Well,
but first of all right, go ahead.
She goes into talking to Whistler.
Yes,
and he starts to kind of give the backstory.
Yes,
because she's like, "What is going on here?"
Yes,
and he's like, "Oh, the kid. I found him on the streets,
and he was
drinking blood,
eating homeless people,
And
Whistler's backstory is, my family got held hostage by a vampire, and then they killed them all right in front of me.
Yeah.
So I took this guy in. We find out Blade was the baby at the beginning. This has been his life. He is a daywalker. He has the powers, some of the powers of a vampire, right? He's got the strength, agility. He doesn't age as much. He's got some fangs. But he doesn't have some things vampires have. He can walk in the daylight.
Yeah. None of their weaknesses, basically.
None of their weaknesses. The garlic doesn't bother him. He can touch the silver. But he is like this, he was born a vampire, but he's a half-breed.
Right.
Then we get this whole set of vampires. I mean, we're talking like, you've seen Twilight and like the Council of Vamps.
Yeah,
like
we
this
got
is
it.
We got it. We got
all
this
of them.
Old-time vamps. We've always been in the shadows, and what's his name doesn't like it. Deacon Frost.
Yeah, Steven Dorff.
Vampire Illuminati.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, this is how we operate. We do things a certain way. We hide in the shadows, and Deacon Frost is like, you guys have been, one, you've been letting Blade just run amok.
Yeah.
Killing all of us. And two, we hide from the humans.
Yeah, there are food.
It's like if you'd be hiding from cows.
Yeah, they're cattle.
Yes.
We eat them.
Yes.
You guys are the old guard. You need to get out of the way. Make room for the new breed.
And this sets a plan in motion from Deacon's side of like, I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And like, basically that's what he's doing the whole movie. He's just trying to like make this happen.
There's some old prophecies.
Yes.
Some
the chosen one.
The blood god.
And the blood god. And when the vampires come together in the right way, you could have the blood god.
The blood god. Yeah.
All right. So what? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you can kind of breeze through that a little bit. What's he do? This guy ends up taking the oldest leader of the vampires out to some beach somewhere.
Yeah.
And brings his young like vampire friends with him. And it's kind of like if the three of us just grab some elderly man.
Yeah.
Like in like, the mayor and like killed him
right
at the lake. He's like,
we don't know you. And we want a new mayor.
And we're done.
Yeah.
And what do? They just put him in the light. The rest of them put on motorcycle helmets.
Yeah.
Classic way of vampires avoiding
sunscreen and motorcycle outfits.
Yeah. Is sunscreen a real thing that they were using?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. It was actually sunscreen that they were putting on. Like this will do the trick.
Like I mean, SPF 1000.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to be a high SPF.
I need that for my Mexico trip in a couple weeks, please.
And I think this may have been one of the first times we get like an exploding vampire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this guy, I mean, these blow up vampires don't look the best.
This is a top 5.
This
WTF
is definitely
of the movie.
1998 style.
But again, like 1998, I don't know. I mean, Jurassic Park was 93.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying. I mean, there's a lot of things in this that look really great. For example, when Blade throws Karen out the window to avoid well, we can talk about that part.
Right.
The police officer that comes to her place, he uses her as bait.
Right.
And we meet what we call...
She sprays him in the face with some vampire mace.
Yes.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work because he's just a human.
He's just a human.
Yeah. He's a familiar.
A familiar, yeah. He's got the little tattoo on the back of his head.
And Blade breaks it down, and it's the tattoo on his back is for Deacon Frost.
Deacon Frost, yeah. He belongs to Deacon Frost.
He sent this guy here to kill this girl.
So that's like their minions, basically.
Yeah, they're little run and do things. And the familiars are always like, praise you. So anyway, back to Deacon Frost. He kills the elder. This guy explodes like out of his body. His spine just goes crazy. And he's out. And next up, we'll be rounding up the rest of the elders. And that'll take us like kind of toward the end of the movie on the road. In the meantime, Blade and Karen are working together on a few different things. Karen is, now that she has the download about Blade, she's a blood doctor.
Yeah, she's a hematologist.
And Whistler says maybe she can help us.
Yeah.
And
you're dependent on the serum.
Yes.
Which, how did these guys just invent a serum?
Well, and like serums just seem like in this movie, you're printing them.
Right.
Like you're hitting a print button, you can have a new serum.
Boom.
Like, this one didn't work exactly as I thought. So what's she doing? She's trying to make a cure for both her and Blade.
Yeah.
Like, I'll cure him, I'll cure me. First one doesn't go so well, but what's it do? Blows up vampires.
Yes.
Here, Blade, put them in your utility belt.
Yep. Your little repertoire.
We also get Blade and Karen on like a little information gathering thing where we meet the biggest, fattest, weirdest thing in the basement. That's also a vampire that looked like kind of like a mix of, it looked like not Kingpin, but a Legion villain. Mojo.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this Mojo?
Yeah.
And it's not, though. It's
he's
something
just,
else.
Jabba the Hutt.
In the chair.
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the butt.
Jabba the butt.
Shout out
Catosaurus.
Catosaurus. Yeah, Katie Goodrich. That's a little plug for you there if you ever listen to this one. And this thing, I mean, she burns the hell out of it with that UV flashlight.
Yeah.
Like, kind of gets a little weird. Like, hey, I'll be right back.
Like hey, if he moves, burn him.
Burn him. Okay. And she burns him all the way.
Yeah.
And to a crisp. And she goes, he moved. And I was like,
sadistic.
What? Because he's a vampire?
Right.
Because she got bit by a vampire, so she has like a thing against vampires the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Because she got bit by the one.
Right.
I don't blame her.
No.
I'd hold a grudge too.
Yeah, but not against all people of, it's a little close-minded.
Yeah, that's true. But
one vampire bites you.
This one was clearly...
What, were you going to be mad at Blade too?
This one's clearly evil, so...
Yeah, there was something going on. Blade and him had a relationship. They get the information.
Download the data for his plan, basically.
Yeah. And the plan is, they get the plan, right?
He was translating the Bible verses.
There's a Bible from the from the vampires, the Vampire Bible.
Vampire Bible.
And this is where we hear about the prophecies. This is where, like, on this computer, on this hard drive, they download like the digital plans.
Yep.
It shows the tower. It shows like this diagram of like something happening in a tower, and this is where they need to go. Anything else?
We learned that Karen was not cured.
She's not cured. It didn't work.
So she's turning.
She's gonna turn.
She's gonna turn,
and that's happening actively.
Yeah, it's
and the guy's
inevitable.
And Whistler's like, "You'll be all right."
Like, hey, my advice is if you turn before you turn, just end it yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a part where like Blade and Karen are like in a bad spot. The vampires catch up to them, and they're all caving in, and it's kind of not looking good. And Whistler comes in and saves the day, shoots all these vampires to hell, helps out, but gets really messed up in the process.
Yeah.
And this is a real heavy part of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's
rough.
This is rough. I vaguely remember this as a young kid too, and I think I was the same as you, Andy. I was like, "This is crazy."
Yeah,
I shouldn't be watching.
I should be watching this. Man. I'm 9.
Right.
But Whistler's not doing good, and basically Blade gives him the gun and kills himself.
Yeah, he comes, but he comes back, and he sees that the Blade cave, has been torn to bits.
Yes,
and he looks over, and the chair is the sheet on it. He pulls the sheet off. And there's Whistler. He looked dead.
He looked totally dead. His face is like beat in, but he's still breathing.
And
he says something. He says some words to him.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what he says.
Go get him, Blade.
Like don't quit.
Yeah. Don't let him bring forth the blood god.
Yes, and make sure you stop him.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's time. Deacon Frost, lead vampire at this point now, since he killed the leader, gathers up like another 12 volunteers to go to this blood tower.
Full blood vampires.
Yeah.
Full blood. Yeah. That's right. This
is
what they had to be.
Born vampires.
This is a big thing in the thing, like in the vampire rankings.
Prophecy or whatever.
It's like if you're a true blood, that's like the real thing. If you're made a vampire, you're kind of like nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scum.
So he gets the pure bloods, he lines them up, and they're like hold them there against their will.
And they capture Blade.
And then they capture Blade.
Yeah, they capture Blade. They get him with the little cattle prods, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They're electrocuting him.
Yeah. And they get
him down and get him real bad. Like he gets real weak. He's running out of energy. He doesn't have his serum.
Reeling off seeing his mother there.
And we find out that all along, because what's Deacon do? He tells what's the actor's name? You said you finally remembered, Orlando or something like that.
Donald
Log.
Yeah.
He tells him, he's like, bring Blade alive.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, what?
Yeah. Why would we do that?
We've been trying to kill this guy forever. Like,
right.
How are we going to do this? And what do we find out? Well, Deacon's the one that bit Blade's mom.
Right.
Not only that, Blade's mom is
still alive.
Totally alive. Totally vampire. Looks the same.
Yeah.
Smoking hot.
Right.
And they're like, and she's like on Deacon Frost's team. And she doesn't care that like Blade's her son.
Nope, not at all.
Why?
It's no, I mean, we can tell vampires, no emotional connection.
Especially after maybe years.
30 years of being brainwashed. Right. And who knows? Like, obviously, like she was
She was never a mother
in that
to this child.
In that bed,
Right.
like the bed like closes and like she's always in there. It's almost like she's a prisoner.
Yeah, she was in that weird like sarcophagus bed.
Oh man, I gotta say, like the sets and the everything looks so good in this.
Yeah.
Like the vampire meeting room, the bed with that closes on itself, the city. Like, what city are they in? Is it New York?
I don't know.
I would imagine just
It is so weird how some
Blade's
of it
car.
some of it seems ahead of its
motorcycle.
time, but some of it's like WTF, that is an exploding vampire on fire that doesn't look at all even remotely real.
Oh, that
Right.
got rough when he's throwing around the serums and
He hits
and they're
those
blowing
first two with the serum. Like I watched this with my 12-year-old daughter,
up. Wow.
and just not remembering what the movie was.
Sure, but she's 12. You let her choose. You're
Yeah,
with her to
you
answer
know.
questions.
Yeah, he hits those first two people with the serum, and they're expanding and getting bloody and exploding, and she was like, "Whoa, that was crazy."
Yeah.
Yeah, like watching a movie like that as a kid today is like, what
Like,
was that?
Wow.
In like the actual collection of like Blade's blood, like in that machine, and it was just like like spraying out of his wrists and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that was like nasty, man. Like when like your worst nightmare when you're like giving blood, that you're just your blood's gonna like
something's gonna go
just
wrong.
flying out. Like it happened to one of my buddies at a blood drive. Like his
It
blood,
had too much.
his blood just like squirted out of his arm because the
Whoa.
nurse like it up. So,
Got it too good.
so,
Hey,
yeah.
listen, don't let that discourage you. I've given blood for many
Yes.
years,
Same.
and it usually goes perfectly fine. I've never had a
Please,
mistake.
please give
true,
blood.
true.
According to the commercials, the banks are low,
Yes,
and it's not because Blade found them.
Morbius did.
Yeah, right. Okay, so he's down. Blade's not. He's like kind of down for the count here at the end. He's
Yeah, they
drained
g-
of energy. They,
they
beat
got
the
him.
hell out of
They
him.
put him in. They put him in this weird stone sarcophagus at the top of this tower.
Yeah, that like is fit to his perfect body.
Yeah, he fits right in there. The thing closes. It's got the blades that come down on his wrists,
Yeah, it's draining
and
him.
it's draining
like
him.
you said, Andy.
Like this is the thing that they need to spurn and create or bring forth the blood god.
yeah,
is
and
the Daywalker's blood.
and Whistler told Blade this was like a big, what the hell? But I
Right.
guess it's because he was the hybrid. Like he's the chosen one.
Right.
Your blood is the key. So like
Yeah.
that's why they're draining it and all
Yeah.
that. Since he's drained of his blood, everything's going down.
It's coming down that big globe,
yes.
and it's working its way down through all these glyphs.
Yep.
Down to the original vampires. It's They hold them up. It's dripping on their foreheads,
Yeah.
and something happens. They start like drying up and
Yes.
breaking apart, and then you see the super horrifying scene of these winged bat skeletons breaking out
Of the body.
of the bodies
Oh my god.
and flying around
like winged
It's like,
skeletons.
yeah,
What'd your daughter think of that?
just
Awesome.
loved it.
Yeah, probably one of her favorite parts.
Yes,
'Cause I think it was one of mine.
yeah.
I was like, this is pretty cool.
1998 looked great.
Yeah, 1998, you're going, they're making movies now.
Yeah, like I can't believe they're doing this.
What are they going to do next?
Right?
And then he becomes the blood god.
Yeah.
And guess what he looks like?
they're fly-
exactly what you think.
Yeah.
Just completely bloody.
The skeletons are flying around. They're diving in him. They're diving
Yes.
out. They're going through him, and then if they all go in, and he's got the blood eyes and the
Blood body.
blood body.
And Blade's still just like, I'm drained.
Yeah, like Karen
This is it.
gets
Saves
him
the day.
out of the sarcophagus.
Gets him out, breaks
Gets him
him
out
out,
and-
says,
She
Eat me.
she had to fight her old lover as a zombie. That was weird.
this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. He had,
the doctor.
yeah, and he goes, he said the same line. He's a
Yeah.
zombie.
Do you ever think about?
You ever
us?
think about us? She's meeting up with what a crazy plot twist to throw in there. Like
Right.
they happened to keep the one doctor that was randomly attacked.
Right.
at the
Yeah, they even
hospital.
said something about how they like somewhere like reject like being a
Like
vampire.
he
like,
turned into
like,
some
a-
sort of weird zombie
yeah.
creature.
So
Yeah,
maybe
Like
that'll
an
be
offhanded comment.
I bet it'll be relevant in the future movies.
You think
Just
so?
to
I bet we
guess.
never see him again.
I have no,
Nope,
not
never.
him, but I mean like
Oh,
the fact of them turning it like there could be zombie vampire things. I don't know.
Oh yeah, some sort of different
so
creature.
Karen gets away from the creature. She says, classic trope here. Just like
Yeah.
Morbius,
Yeah, feed on me.
eat me,
I'll be your strength.
but just a little.
Yeah.
And he was sucking her blood, but like it was sexual.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
she's like-
well, I mean, it's
it's
Wesley
like-
Snipes.
It's like moaning, he's moaning,
yeah.
and it's like flashing to her and then to the blood god, and I'm like, man, I'm starting to sweat.
You can tell. You can tell like he's really into it.
He's so into it,
Like,
and he's like, I've never do this.
He
I
may
can't
not
drink
be
human
able
blood.
to stop.
He might. I'm gonna suck her dry.
Yeah.
You know, this is right out of Twilight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he doesn't, I guess.
I guess not.
And he gets it, but he gets jacked up.
Oh yeah.
Like he becomes the most Blade he's ever been.
Oh,
and now it's
for
time
sure.
to fight. Like the craziest fight, the fight scenes, the spin moves,
Like,
the
he
sword.
Jumps from the top, does the superhero landing,
He looks crazy.
He's a
like jacked.
badass dude. Wesley
Yeah.
Snipes.
and gets the blood god, starts chopping him up to keep the guys growing back. It's
Yeah,
not
he's
working.
got his sword. He's chopping him in half, you know, and he's chopped his arm off, and you see it kind of flies away, and the blood like grabs it back and sucks it back in, and you're like, oh no, what's Blade gonna do? That was his.
That's his thing.
That was his thing. He was gonna cut him up.
And there's one more thing we could try.
He's got
Serum.
the serum.
So he
The
was
little
trying to
pack
trick
of-
him into taking it himself, right? Because
Yeah,
Blade was saying like,
when they first captured him, he's like,
Don't-
"Is this your serum that
you don't want
keeps
to
you
take
alive?"
it. You don't
He's
want to
like,
take it, do you?
Why don't you try it? Find out.
Yeah, give it a go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
And you're like, "Oh man, this could
Yeah.
really be the
And-
thing Blade needs."
Instead, I'll throw them at you.
And that's what he does. He throws them at people, and then he throws it into the mouth.
he found
Right?
the thing was like up in the on the
Oh,
wall,
yeah.
and he took his sword and he threw it at it,
Oh my god!
and it stuck in the thing, and he had the little timer with the blades.
And the booby trap.
Yeah, the booby
that
trap.
takes off if it hands.
Pop, and like Wesley Snipes did this little spin thing, caught it behind his back,
That catches it behind his back.
right, and then just starts throwing him.
Yeah.
But he saves one,
Right.
so he can throw it up in the air and then kick it at him.
Then
Yeah.
he kicks
I
it.
remember-
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
remember
boom,
correctly.
boom, boom, all over, and then the little spin kick, boom, right in the forehead,
And this is it.
and you see the super gruesome blood god
Blood
explosion.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just goo, blop, and going
everywhere.
everywhere. And the blood god, like, that's it.
Yeah,
Blade wins.
Blade.
And Blade's like, I love killing vampires. Karen, we're still around.
Yep.
Make me
Make
a better serum.
come on.
More.
Why don't you go and make me a better serum?
Or what a motherfucker's always trying to skate uphill.
Oh, skate uphill. Hey, I was watching. Shout out to Looper. I was watching some like recap videos today, just getting ready for the episode, and one of them was like, they were like, one of the most infamous lines from the movie. This one, the skate uphill, that was improv, and I'm like, no shit.
Of course it was.
I'm like, yeah, that's not a line,
Right. They were like, Wesley, I don't think I'll like put it in.
I mean, you could tell.
Yeah.
Like he had a lot. Like I wonder how
This
many
was
takes.
his movie.
This was it. So he tells her to like make me a serum. She turns down the serum that could potentially cure him.
He's like, I got more work to do.
He's like, I need the skills
Yes.
to go out and keep killing evil vamps.
Yes,
I'm
for
not
sure.
finished. So much so that we get a teaser at the end of this. Russia? He's in like
Yeah.
Russia? He's in some other country, and like he's like, I've found more vamps.
Yep.
Can we send him there now? Please.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
We need you, Wesley.
Wesley,
What?
please.
Yeah, just Wesley.
Yeah.
That's a good point. There's anything else? That's the story, right?
That's it. That's Blade.
1998. All right, now you talked about it. You saw it fresh. What do you think of this movie now?
Great. I think it holds up.
You think it like is it as good?
It is so much fun
It might be more fun now, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, because like
to just disconnect. You don't have to worry about this character or this character. Where's the threads? What am I looking for?
yeah,
Are there post-credit scenes? What do I
Yeah.
got to look for
Oh my
threads
gosh.
here?
don't need.
You're just
anything.
like, boom, 90s action flick. Love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta say, the middle of it dragged a little,
Fair?
and it felt like
Yeah.
a little bit, but like overall, I was happy. Like
Yeah.
I was very happy. I thought this thing looked crazy. I thought man, not just for the time, but this is a bold movie. This is a hard R. You never get rated R superhero content. Like,
Right.
it's a big deal nowadays. Like, Deadpool is still like this, like, breaking the mold type thing. And Blade, man, 98. They were like, we don't care.
Right.
We'll show this bloody vampire killing machine blowjob nightclub in the first 10 minutes.
Yep. I mean, this is 90s Marvel where I think they had just been on the verge of bankruptcy and they were looking for cash.
Yeah.
You know, they have sold off a lot of their character property rights
Yep.
at this point.
What we got left.
And they were like, well, what can we do?
And whose idea was it? Like, was it Wesley's idea?
This is something that Wesley campaigned on. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be this character,
Yeah.
along with he also wanted to be Black Panther.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So, I mean,
Oh yeah.
well, you got to be one or the other.
yeah. And
I mean, in a
this is
cinematic
the-
universe.
This
anyway.
is the thing that got picked up, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, super happy about it.
I don't know that it made money. I mean, it had to make money.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I didn't pull up
Because they made three
It's
of
something I
them.
don't think about as much with the older movies, but like, I wonder if the budget's on here from IMDb. That's one thing that might be missing that I need to pull in here. Maybe one of you guys can pull up on your phone just real quick, budget box office, because I am curious. 98 too. It'd be kind of interesting to see, at that point, what was a good box office in 1998.
Right.
I got it.
Yeah.
What you got, Andy?
Per Wikipedia, budget 45 milli,
Okay.
box office 131.
Oh, that's a
0.2.
win.
Oh, it killed.
Oh, for sure.
It did just fine.
You double your budget,
Well, guess what?
you're making 2 more movies.
You got Blade 2, you got Blade Trinity.
Yeah.
All
For sure.
I can't wait to we're going to talk about a little setup for those. Giggler, what'd you think about this movie? I know you had a good time. You said you did. After you talk about it, I want to hear your final thoughts on a rating, and we'll get your rating too.
Yeah, I totally agree on the holding up part. I have very different priorities as a older 34-year-old man than I did as a 10 to 14-year-old watching this movie. But 100%, like, just like the weapons, like the unique like approach that they took to a lot of those things. I really think the opening scene really drew you in. Like, I totally agree. It was kind of slow in the middle, but also the end, even though it was kind of corny with like looking with the bat skeletons flying out of the people. I mean, it was still like, I still was like, this is awesome. Like, I'm so happy I watched this movie, even during all that like cheesy moments like that.
Yeah.
So, but I'll think for overall rating, 3.1.
Wow. That's pretty good. I'll give you a round of applause for that.
There's a lot of things I appreciated about this movie that I didn't like expect to with the rewatch. I thought it was just going to be a blah. But like now I didn't expect to be super pumped to turn on Blade 2, but I'm like, when are we going to watch it? I want to watch it now.
Like, just do it immediately. Maybe it's better just to
Yeah.
go 1, 2, 3. All right, what's your rating, Scotty? And any final thoughts?
Man, I love this movie. I love Wesley Snipes. It was, you haven't seen a lot from him.
Yeah, that's
In
what
a
I was
long
thinking.
time.
Yeah.
He had that tax issue where I think he went to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or
I feel like we're gonna
at
talk
least
about
was
this
on a hiatus of some
Mhm.
sort. But man, yeah, this really brought me back. 3.3,
Damn. Yeah. Okay.
and then I've
You
got
too.
a special rating.
You have a special rating.
A special rating
Let's hear it. Let's
from
hear-
Lila.
Okay.
3.8.
Whoa!
Yes.
Blowing the minds of
Not as good as Morbius.
12-year-olds everywhere.
Yeah.
No, not as good.
Not as good as Morbius.
Right.
The
But pretty
vampire
close.
ranking is
But-
pretty clear.
Enough to when the credits were rolling, she was like, "So, Blade 2?"
Yeah. Like really enjoyed it.
Like, really enjoyed it, and we've already watched Blade 2.
Well,
I've got
there's
that one on deck.
I'll tell you what, there's no doubt in my mind that you listen to you guys here in Lila's rating, it gets me more jazzed.
Yeah.
Like, it's contagious. Gotta keep it in check. Think about my real experience. It was so fun. And
Yeah.
like, it really was like, I was grabbed from the beginning. The ending with the graphics getting a little wild, like, it's kind of hard not to kind of go like, what the hell? But overall, man, just like a dark, gritty character that's like, no one loves a character more than just they are just who they are.
Yep.
And Blade like lives and breathes that.
Yeah. Like,
Like,
you didn't need a lot of backstory.
You like none really.
You just
like, here
look
he's
at the
born,
guy.
and now here's him in the suit.
Right.
And I really like that, and like totally different from Morbius of like, kid in an orphanage and like a Nobel Peace Prize scientist.
Right.
This is like who's this lady being born in this crazy thing, and now this guy's in a black suit killing vampires.
Yep. Slaughtering.
2.9. I can't wait for Blade 2. Really pumped for Blade Trinity. I mean, Ryan Reynolds with the goatee, and I mean, I haven't even seen those.
Triple H is in one of them, right?
Triple H is in Blade Trinity.
Okay, I remember this.
And Ryan Reynolds played that character because he didn't think he was going to ever get to play Deadpool.
He was like, "This is it. This is how I get into the Marvel universe."
When you watch Blade Trinity, you will be like, "Oh, that's Deadpool."
Yeah, it's the same.
I recall
and to be
the
fair,
character.
Deadpool is like, Ryan Reynolds.
Yes,
kind of.
yes.
So, and Ryan Reynolds' characters are kind of Ryan Reynolds. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Good point.
No offense though, because like I love everything. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, you guys heard what we thought, man. Love getting the reviews in here, and we got to shout out some people online. This is another old friend of mine, Chris V. He's C. Vandiver on Instagram. Chris, hope you've been well, man. He wrote into us on Instagram. He said, you might be able to get 3 podcasts out of talking about just how shitty Wesley Snipes was during the filming of Blade 3. Maybe even a spin-off show on his tax fraud, LOL. What's crazy is Patton Oswalt and Ryan Reynolds are both in it, and they couldn't even save it. Read up on the production problems. You won't be disappointed. Holy cow, I cannot wait. That'll be in our Blade Trinity episode.
Yes.
Is this sounding familiar to you?
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows Wesley Snipes he's a diva.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know this.
Oh,
so we're gonna learn together as a
yeah.
group. You might help us tell. Chris seems to know about it. You know about it.
We can dig up some of those facts when we do that show.
Well, because like you do get to start thinking about this character, and now you have the new actor that's playing Blade. You guys remember?
Mahershala Ali.
And like, man, it's like you kind of wonder like, what is Wesley Snipes up to right now?
Right.
Like, what's he doing?
Maybe we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Maybe we'll find out. Yeah, exactly. Chris. Thank you for that. And also a very special shout out from Nick Steele. This guy, he's Nerd Nick on Instagram. He's also the host of a show called NK Mornings on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch right now, go follow him right this second. And he hosts NK Mornings is a show that he does with his wife, Kristen. They're full-time podcasters, radio stars. He also works at 99.5 The Wolf in Portland. This is what he had to say. 3.1. In 1998 standards. I thought it was a fun, kick-ass action movie that still made me laugh, a lot like today's Marvel movies. But to be fair, I haven't seen it in 20 years. I do remember the final graphics looking like a bad version of the Fruit of the Loom grapes.
Yep, when the blood god is exploding.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Nick, Chris.
That's accurate. a great reference. Fruit of the Loom grapes.
I mean, I can just, as soon as you say that, I just see the commercials and they're all just dancing, just dancing back and forth. Great thoughts. Appreciate the rating. I love it when people are coming in and using the scale. I love seeing that 3.1. Obviously, a movie that Nick had a good time with. Chris is our age, so this obviously made an impact when he was a young kid. You can tell this is one that crosses the generations, and we can't wait for Blade 2. So I guess that'll be, we'll talk about that one maybe next in between, maybe, well, we'll just see when. But you guys down to watch these one at a time?
We'll get to it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Blade, 1998. Go watch it. Oh, how did we watch this thing?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. All 3.
All 3 on Netflix.
Get them while you can.
Yep.